Let's put a 60-10 root on this 5-inch coupon. I'm gonna give you some pointers. If you're struggling with your 60-10 bead, if you're a student, even if you're doing it on plate, this is going to apply to you. Now, as far as the gap, this is the spacer that I'm using. It's less than a 1/16 of an inch. A lot of guys that go uphill give it about a 332-inch gap. I'm going downhill. I think that the wider the gap, the harder it is, in my opinion. But something like this is the gap that I got. It's not consistent, especially maybe right here is a little tighter. But overall, on the top side, as you can see, it's under a 1/16 of an inch. Now, I'm going to be using this ESAB Rogue. This is the older version, the 180i Pro. Now it upgraded to the 201 IP Pro, which means it goes up to a higher amperage. This one right here has a mode for 60-10, and I have it at 65, 64 amps or whatever. I went ahead and tacked it on the top and on the bottom. That is the top tack right there. Let me show you the bottom tack right there. That is the bottom tack. We'll go ahead and put the whole bead in, and we'll see it at the end. Whenever you're putting your bead in, the first thing that you have to do is ensure that the tip of this welding rod is inside of these two bevels. You should be able to hear that bead on the back side. The sparks should be inside of this pipe or behind plate if you're doing that. Always ensure that you're in there, not on top, on the bevel, not up here, not too high. You're always keeping the rod inside. Now, second thing is, if you're starting, you're trying to push inside of these two bevels, and you notice that you can't push in for whatever reason, it's getting hard. That means that your machine is too cold. Go ahead and turn it up 5 and try again, or 10, whatever you might need. Don't be afraid to go up and down on your amps. Now, if you start going, obviously, before I say this, the landing, the thickness of right here, it shouldn't be a knife edge. It should be flat, about a nickel size thickness. And if you start going and you notice that you're getting a big hole right here, that means that your machine is too hot. Go back over here, turn it down 5, turn it down 10, whatever it is you need to do. Don't be afraid to move your amps. You should be able to put this in there and start moving freely. Sometimes you'll be able to see that keyhole opening up. All you have to do is you might be able to whip it back and forth. This rod, what it does, it dries pretty fast. So when you step off of it, you can come back in it and you'll be able to attach metal on it. But if you're too hot, it'll also fall. Let's go ahead and try.
I want you to pay attention to the edge of that tack. Usually when you grind down your tacks, this always happens. Your metal will open up right there as you start because the metal is soft. But if you continue watching, you'll notice that that keyhole in between those two bevels is getting bigger. And you notice me, I'm going up and down. This is a technique that I'm using to continue going even though my machine is a little bit hot. This can be easily fixed by just turning your machine down, and you'll avoid a lot of problems. Notice how big that keyhole is right there. This right here is the second part. I'm starting about ½ an inch behind where we stopped. This allows everything to get hot, and it's an easier transition whenever you go into that keyhole. You don't have to grind anything. All you have to do is go. But if you're starting to notice right there, the big difference, we turned the machine down 5 amps. And right now, all I'm doing is keeping that welding rod inside. Huge difference. Now, I did have the camera directly in front, so my welding rod was kind of at an angle. But you can see I'm not moving my welding rod up and down. I'm just kind of just putting it in there. I'm pushing in firmly and kind of dragging it. I am still stepping just a hair, but not as much as before. And notice that big difference between the keyhole from right here where we stopped and the last one. Notice it's a lot smaller. This right here is the retake of what I just welded, but I wanted to do the inside of the pipe so you can see what I'm talking about. Your spark should be on the inside. All them sparks should be on the inside of that pipe or on the back of that plate. Focus on getting that tip of that welding rod on the back side. So now we're going to be closing up this bead on the half side of the pipe. Notice the smooth transition. The temperature is the same. This is how I like to weld, honestly. You don't have to do much. It's not really complicated once you get the heat right. All I'm doing is leaving that welding rod on the inside and dragging it. Now, as you get closer to the tack, because you have to grind it, obviously the metal's gonna start softening up right there. And this is why you see me kind of going up and down, allowing the metal to cool as I step off and then go back in it. But all you have to do is kind of wiggle back and forth. And then as you get to the tack, keep going, and step off. We went ahead and changed the pipe over to a horizontal position so you could get a better view and you could see how it looks like whenever your amps might be a little bit too cold. Notice that the gap is a little bit tighter than before and we're running the same heat. If you notice, some of that fire is kind of spitting back out at us. This is because I'm kind of forcing that rod to go to the inside in between those two bevels. Now, the beat is still going, but I'm struggling. If this is happening to you, you need to stop and increase your amps so you can have a smooth transition. You shouldn't be pushing your rod too much. You should be able to just put it in there and glide over so that way you won't have any problems.
So we finished the beat. This right here was right at our tie-in point. That's why it seems a little bit flatter than the rest of the beat right here. After you grind it and put your hot pass, it should look a little bit better. A lot of the stuff pushes in. But the point of the video is for you to learn how to put your beat on the inside. Make sure that you push that rod on the inside. If it's opening up, it's too hot, don't be afraid to move your amps up and down and make adjustments as you go. If you're a beginner, remember, welding is a numbers game. All you have to do is continue practicing. The more that you learn, the faster that you learn, and the faster that you overcome all of these obstacles. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments below. And like always, thank you for watching.